I want to talk about, I think we should talk about research in motion. So they had they had a huge global service outage that lasted. I mean, it didn't last that long, but I mean, it was their network, and their network is a big selling point for BlackBerry. They also had their Playbook that hasn't been selling well, and they've just been losing market share for quite a while now, and their stock has just taken a huge fall recently.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, for me, this is something pretty almost personal, because I went to Waterloo and I saw just like how generous Research in Motion was with the community, and to see them fall like that now, almost like, you know what I mean? It's
Sure.
It's almost embarrassing as someone from Waterloo to see that happen. What do you guys think of Research in Motion? Do you think they'll come back, or do you guys think that this is just a slow demise for them going forward?
What is it? The next thing they're releasing has like QM technology. Like there's these Blackberries like super phones. They're coming out. They're just wait for that. Just wait for that. And you have people saying it's gonna be too late. You need a solution now. You don't know that. People like get really excited about new products. This whole thing could be water under the bridge if you have like as the name implies, a super phone.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I got so excited about their tablet when I first heard of it, and then it came out, and it was a huge disaster. It wasn't even ready. Like, they had all these software problems that looked like a huge joke, and I was just so disappointed.
I mean, I think right now, like, growth is kind of out of the question. You're hoping to sustain. You know, if you just look at the average consumer of whether it being your friends, how many of your friends have gone from iPhone to BlackBerry, or whatever, Android to BlackBerry, or nothing to BlackBerry. There's still people who are going from regular small, like, talk and pay cell phones or whatever, going to BlackBerry.
Right.
But one of my friends was telling me how he works in a cell phone store, and he's like, their software is still good. You know, BBM is a huge, huge thing for them. But in terms of their hardware, people are slowly getting over the BBM. The BlackBerry model, like the BlackBerry Bold is really cool when it came out. The Curve was cool. The Pearl, the mini, like, thinner one was awesome too. People almost like getting over it, getting bored of it. Yeah. You know, while you don't really hear too much people getting bored of, you know, iPhone, let alone Android, which is capable on so many other different types of phones. You know, you can get a cheap Android too. You can get a pay-as-you-go Android.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So that's.
For sure, like I don't think that's a strong talking point, because it's just the advanced technologies. These things, in my point of view, shift so drastically. So you have Apple, who has go from no presence to being one of the stronger powers. I don't think you could say what someone's market share now is indicative of what it will be next year if they're planning on releasing new technology. But what's unfortunate, like, there's this outage. Like, by the end of it, it got traced back to, where was it? In the United Kingdom, it's like called Slough, Slough. I don't know, doesn't sound nice, but it was traced back to there, and which is funny because that's also the setting for the original The Office, which is, you know, there's all like this middling. Was it paper company then?
So, I don't know the UK office, but okay, I know what you're talking about.
But from that a fictitious world and this real world where Slough is just misrepresented. So like the real victim in all of this is anyone who's trying to lease a business park in Slough. Yeah. It's like, it's just like killing your marketability, killing the appeal there. And also Slough, you're half a syllable away from calling sloth. So like, that's just like not somewhere with no productivity or good management.
That's really unfortunate.
I think a lot of changes are coming to that, just in the name.
Yeah. You know what makes me, like, the biggest indicator that there's a lot to worry about with Research in Motion? I haven't heard crackberry in forever. Remember when that was the term that you'd hear everywhere? Yo, I got a crackberry now. You don't hear that anymore. Like, it used to really be like, yeah, I fucking addicted to this phone. I can't let it down. I can't put it in my pocket. I'm always doing something on it. I don't really hear that term anymore.
There's two ways. Either people have fallen away from it, or that's become the norm and everyone's just on it. It's not strange anymore, because, you know, you're on someone has an iPhone. Okay, you make fun of crackberry because someone's on all the time. Yeah. What happens now when you meet with your friends, or at least mine, everyone pulls out their phone, sets them on the table, and you're going to have a conversation until like a screen flashes. And everyone looks to see if it was theirs. I think that's more why we don't hear it, because it's just like, oh, you have a phone. That's normal behavior.
Smartphone too, yeah.
Right. But I mean, also they were the first ones to come out with a smartphone that was like people could afford and stuff. And it's just,
That's
I mean,
true.
I think it's a big lesson in terms of like being first isn't the end game. You know, it doesn't
Right.
mean you're gonna have
Absolutely.
great success in the long run. You know.
Yeah, I don't think they'll die down anytime soon. I mean, they could obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but to say that they'll rise to the top or rise to what they were before is tough. You know what I mean? Like their directors, the CEO, the two CEOs, they got to kind of decide like, all right, we're at like a turning point right now. Like we either keep moving forward or we fall kind of like what Motorola fell, you know, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nokia's kind of in a bind too. Like they can sell a lot of phones, but they're not making a lot of money off their phones. And
Right.
so whatever way they choose to go, or really work on their software too, and just be like, this is awesome, you know. I heard a rumor that Android was thinking of buying BBM. I mean, I don't think that's true,
Mm-hmm.
but if BlackBerry, if they're sitting there being like, wow, like we could lose it, let's try to sell BBM for what it's worth. Let's give some of it to Android. Let's partner up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it might sound like a crazy idea, but it might be the best case
Yeah.
at this point in time.
Apple came out with actually their own like messaging application.
Yeah.
The latest.
I heard, yeah,
With the new
yeah.
software
OS.
update.
Yeah, which basically is BBM, but just for Apple products.
Yeah.
But what?
I'm
well,
not
I
seeing,
think-
I'm not seeing a marked like improvement in the quality of my life just because I have that. I don't understand why people are excited about that. That I know it's delivered.
Yeah,
I still understand, yeah.
I'm the wrong consumer to ask too. I mean, I don't even like to like text or use
I
my
mean-
phone that much, so like I can't really understand it. But
BBM, the one incentive I'd say I would use it, like if you're texting internationally, you can BBM someone for free.
Mhm.
But really, the average consumer doesn't text too much, you know, internationally. Let's say maybe 20% to even 10%,
Yeah.
you know.
Actually, you know
photos.
what? I kind of do know one of the reasons why BBM is popular is because you can see if people have read your message, which is
Yeah.
huge for a lot of people, and which is why I would avoid BBM at all times. Sometimes I
Exactly,
read
yeah.
the message, I'm like, I don't want to text right now, and I
Yeah.
can just leave it. But
Yeah.
if people can see that I read their message, that would just, I know, okay, now I have to respond. Great,
Yeah.
awesome, you know. But I mean, I'm the wrong person to ask about that.
Would you
Because I
guys-
think
What did you guys think of the response? Because I don't have a BlackBerry, but I found out with the response because I was actually at a party trying to convince everyone how great my iPhone is, and the
Right.
last thing I said is like, food will taste better if you get an iPhone. And the guy said, yeah, but you get $100 in free apps. Because apparently, in response to Outage, RIM gave $100 of free apps to everyone
Yeah,
had
they're
it.
going to roll that out, right?
Yeah, well, it's already, but apparently like it was like $100 worth of like this set, and they were like the shittiest apps,
Yeah.
and the best one there was Connect 4.
yeah,
just made me
it was
think of,
like
like, the
a whole bunch
place-
of games, and there was a one radio app.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a fucking stellar lineup of apps for
Yeah.
sure.
It was
But-
just more of a joke. Yeah.
I mean, I heard their apps are not even that great to begin with.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
so-
to be honest, like personal point of view, I think apps have been way overrated. I mean, I've got I can check the Apple App Store. I will tell you, yeah, there's 100,000 apps, but 99,000 of them are complete shit.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you look for an app for one thing, and there'll be like 10 apps for it. They can do it, but only one of them will actually be any good, and the rest of them are just trash. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
So
it's true.
personally, I think apps are just way overrated right now.
That goes with kind of the competition we had about user-generated content or free content.
Yeah.
You know, like this is our first world problem. Like a lot of these apps are free to you.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like I have to find the best one. Like the fact that there is a best one that's gonna
Yeah.
cost $2.
Yeah.
It's I'm willing to tolerate or sift through some shit. You know.
Yeah. No,
Only
for
metaphorically will I sift through shit.
Yeah.
But
Sure. Only metaphorically?
yeah, that or
I'm
if
glad you specified that.
yeah, that or if it's like some type of Jurassic Park situation, I have to find out why they're all dying. Or that, like, the Triceratops and shit.
Right.